Following this broadcast thing is rated like ESVPG because I'm in a pissy mood. I don't know what we'll say. Just kidding. Hello, everybody. It's time for tonight's open forum here on Your Shoulder Voice. Of course, we're going to talk about whatever's on your mind, whatever's going on, whether it be current events or something that's just been bothering you or something that's been really good. We want to talk to you about it here. So that's it. That's the intro. You guys ready to do this?
Ready.
All right, let's do it.
Love is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Where you go, I'm there. Together, together, always together. Together, together, always together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Your Shoulder Voice. Yep, I'm not bringing you in one by one. I'm just going to have you all on here because I'm glad to have you today. How's everybody doing out there? Of course, this is Your Shoulder Voice, the open forum. Our topic tonight is whatever you want to talk about, anything that's been going on, anything in the news, anything you're interested in on there. Don't forget while you're here, like, share, subscribe, and follow Your Shoulder Voice. We're on Meta, Twitch, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. All that. Feel free to reach out anytime, engage with us. We'll respond to you live during the show. That's about the entire intro. First, let's get some highs out of the way. Gabe, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Good to have you back here. So it's been a long delay. What's been going on?
I've been sick for quite a while.
That's a long sickness. Feeling better now?
Mostly, I'd say 85, 87%.
All right. At least you got like down to like 1%. I like that. 85 to
Indeed.
87. It's a good
Yeah.
area. Bill, how about yourself? How are things going?
Well, Keith, it's been a rough week.
It has been a rough week.
But I'm still here.
That's what counts most. We love you. We're glad you're here. 100% glad you're here. Anthony, yeah, this is how we're doing the intros today. I was like, this is just how I'm doing it. Anthony's got 2 thumbs up, and Janie. Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. All right, so I didn't know if this was even going to, what we were going to talk about tonight, but you were all excited. So what's on your minds? What's going on? And anybody in the chat, if you got anything you want to talk about, anything you want to discuss, feel free to let us know right now because we are here for you and we'd love to discuss things that are going on in your life. Let's start with Jane. Jane was all excited. So Jane, what's going on?
Oh, no, not much. I was just excited to be on tonight. I didn't really have too much in mind.
All right. Well, okay, since we got these great topics, let's talk about what's on everybody's mind right now. Okay. We don't have anything prepared today, forgive us. Let's talk about the biggest problem that is concerning everybody, that everybody's been dealing with. It's been in the news. It's been all over the place. The Mexican pizza is back at Taco Bell.
Yeah. Team
And-
Johnny.
It is
Yeah.
hard to even... I am so pissed I don't even want to buy one right now. Who is like this huge fan of the Mexican pizza?
It's back.
Yeah, it's back. That's my attitude, Anthony. Like, it
Yeah,
was
I
gone.
didn't know it left.
Call me when the Cholito is back.
That's what I'm waiting for. That fucking Cholito was the shit.
The
And they won't
Cholito.
bring back... Yeah, see,
chili
that's how
cheese
long it's
burrito?
been. That was like the best thing at Taco
yes.
Bell. It was amazing. That was the
Order
one
like
thing
9
you
of
get.
them for $5. They used to.
Yeah.
Well, you'd probably get one of them for $9 now.
Yeah, they're like $2.50. You can still get them up in Oscoda.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah.
Jacqueline, Big Jack here says, who's the good-looking guy in the upper right corner? And Johnny Depp. Good-looking guy in the upper right corner. That's me, of course. That's who it is. But thank you. I do kind of look like Johnny Depp. We got that right now. How you doing, Jacqueline? Glad to have you here on the show. You're talking about how expensive it is, and you're right about that. That's one thing that pisses me off. Like, they brought this Mexican pizza back. Now, first of all, I can't get anything from Taco Bell because the lines are insane right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was all some gimmick marketing ploy at this point. You take away an item for less than a year, you bring it back, and you just sell out beyond belief. You charge like double what it was before. It's like $5 now, $6.50 you try to order like through the app or something. And people are going nuts like they've never had anything like it in their life.
It's
But
It's
it's
a
the
fucking
same
flat
way.
taco.
It's the
Isn't
same way
taco-
how they treat
Okay.
the taco fries or whatever, the Taco Bell French fries. Like, same thing happens. Like, they disappear for like 3 months, and then they come back, and everyone goes nuts for them, and they make a whole campaign.
Yeah, but the pizza was there for 20-some fucking years.
But Taco Bell is a gimmick in itself. It's just a taco folded 7 million different ways.
Right? Right.
You have a hard taco or a soft taco option. all a Mexican pizza is a tostada
It's a flat fucking taco.
on top of a tostada with some cheese on it.
That's where
it's
Taco Bell gets.
Everything.
That's
is
where Taco
exactly
Bell's
the
like a
same.
genius, because at some point, like, okay, we've got this. Okay, we've got our gorditas. These are really good. But what if? Bear with me, guys.
Right.
You know that sauce we put on the nachos? What if we put it on the gordita
Yeah.
or the chalupa? And they've got this new item that everybody goes nuts over. But they're one of the only people that can do it. Ashley's here. Ashley, just call me Bruce. I love the name Williams. I think she was talking about the guy with earmuffs, peanut butter recall. Yes, we were talking about that. Who heard about the peanut butter recall?
Yep. Me and Bill
I did.
were both affected. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's with the peanut butter recall? This is the first time hearing
So,
of it when you said it earlier.
They had a whole list. They had a whole list of it, and saying that it could have salmonella in it. And like I was saying before we started, I had half a jar of it. My daughter was over here, and I was telling her about it. And then I actually ran down the numbers and picked up the jar. It's like, well, I ate half a jar of it. I'm still alive. It was 64 ounces, so I ate 32 ounces of peanut butter. And I was like, I said, well, it didn't get me yet, so I'm just going to finish it off because the damn jar of peanut butter cost me like $12 or something like that. I forgot what it was for Jif now.
Okay.
And my daughter's like, nope. And she walked over, picked it up, and threw it out in the garbage can. So I was like, I guess I'm not
That's
going
a
to do
waste
that.
of good peanut butter. I mean, you already had half the jar. What are they going to get? Double salmonella?
They say
Yeah,
12
that's
to
what I said.
72
Well,
hours. is
She
what
said
they
it
say.
might be sitting at the bottom of the jar, Dad.
So what is it? Natural peanut butter separates. I guess the salmonella just settles to the bottom there. Is it a particular company?
Jif.
Jif.
It is
was
Jif,
Jif.
so it's the only like real peanut butter.
Yes, that's the thing. That's why I said it's the only good peanut butter that's out there anymore. Well, it's my favorite. I mean, other than I make my own peanut butter here sometimes, but I make cashew butter and pistachio butter and stuff like that. But I've had people, bring me Kroger peanut butter, and I'm like, I take a little taste of that, and I step out on the back porch and throw it over from the park for the squirrels. So
Next time, let me know because I'll eat that shit. Don't get rid of it. Kroger, I like Kroger brand foods. Kroger is one of the few brands that I actually trust. Like I'll buy their brand
some of
products.
Kroger's foods are good, but their peanut butter sucks comparatively. So
What about you, Anthony? What's been going on in your world? Any issues with the peanut butter craze and the loss of that?
No, I don't do peanut butter.
Oh, so you're lucky. So we're all gonna die, and you're not. That's not very fair.
Well, you're not necessarily gonna die. You just get salmonella.
Yeah.
That seems to be the main thing that goes on with everything we have constantly coming up. Why salmonella? Everything gets shut down for it, and that's another thing. Go back to Taco Bell. Why can't I have my fucking green onions? Still, they took those off the market. That's the other
it's
thing.
just like jets. When you used to, you bought a jet boat, the sauce was inside, and then all of a sudden they said we're not putting the sauce inside anymore. It's on the side, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me! Why aren't you going to put the sauce inside? Because the sauce on the outside, they didn't even warm it up; it was cold. And I used to bitch at them, and they said, "Well, something happened with someone that they got a severe burn from it or something like that, biting into the damn thing." Who's going to bite into a jet boat? You usually cut it up into pieces, and then you eat it with a fork and stuff.
What is wrong with you? I roll that thing up and
Yeah.
goes right down. So I don't know why they're taking that out. How long is that? I didn't hear anything about the peanut butter recall. Like I said, you guys brought it to my attention
There's
first.
lot codes,
Yeah.
so they've got it narrowed down to the lots.
Basically, if
Yeah.
the last 7 digits end in 425, then throw it away.
What were
And it covered a bunch of different ones. It even covered the honey peanut butter and the different size jars and everything like that. So
Yeah, it's anything. I think I read up on it. It's anything out of their Lexington plant, essentially.
Okay.
So all of it.
All of it, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we're good on that.
Any brand. So
So what else is going on out there? Anybody in the chat? Any news? There hasn't even been much in the news lately. I can't even think of a lot that's been going on too much. In the
Johnny
news.
Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah, but that's been there.
Yeah,
she is
yeah,
one
that's
crazy
come back.
bitch.
She's lost. She doesn't even know she's lost. She's still fighting with it, and it's hilarious because she's lost. But
but we'll see because we're not the jury.
Only time will tell.
no,
yeah.
that's true. That's true. But everything that if you sit there and during the day, so I'm cleaning out my mother's house. It's probate, it's sold and stuff, and I'm cleaning everything out. So I got it on TV in every room so I can listen to it. And it's so hilarious because, first of all, I like the fact that new antenna on my TV, I pick up court TV now, and I can watch it all the time and listen to it. And you listen to it, and she did her best when she was actually in the witness stand trying to cry. And that's what everyone noticed whenever they commented on it after the fact. So,
Do you think this is more like a sensationalized thing, though? I'm thinking back to the last, like, to all the court viewings, the television court viewings. This seems like it's done just for entertainment, almost to me.
I don't think so because of the fact that
I mean, it's
she
a serious.
posted everything and she said what she said, and they killed Johnny Depp from making another Pirates of the Caribbean and two other motion pictures that he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it killed his career. And even if he wins this trial and wins $54 million, he won't ever get $54 million out of her because she doesn't have it anymore. But the thing is he's going to be screwed anyway because there's still going to people going to have your own thoughts about it, your own attitude about it, as whether you were guilty or not. So,
Right, but the general consensus is is a libel trial. So he may get
Right.
money. She's also filing the suit. But the most important thing that's going to come out of this at this point is publicity. And Johnny Depp, whether he wins or loses, he's finally, obviously, everybody's Team Johnny and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of these videos and audio recordings and things like that. And I see them both as seriously flawed people. I
Yeah.
see him as someone, they never should have been married in the first place because I see him, obviously, he's got drug issues and things like that, but I see him more as a person who bails when it comes to confrontation. Obviously, you can tell from all the evidence and things like that. The guy just leaves, And I see her as someone who wants to get in and fight. And even
And
the
chase your
smallest
ass
thing.
down.
Because
Yeah.
that's somehow, because I've been in relationships like that, where sometimes it's like it doesn't feel right unless you're arguing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I see her as someone who could be extremely vicious. So I don't think it was abuse. I think it was a mutual dysfunction.
That's.
And now they're going at each other in the public eye.
I would go with that. I like the way you phrase that for mutual dysfunction because I've only caught clips. I haven't watched it really steady. I haven't watched the whole thing throughout. I've only been catching little clips here and there because it's just been dragging on so long, and I don't want to be so focused and occupied with it. But I wasn't saying that the relationship or going to court was an issue. Just the way it seems to be dragging on, I wouldn't know if this would have dragged on the same if it was 20 years ago. I'm thinking OJ didn't take this long, and he killed the bitch. I mean, well, whether he did or didn't, but that's what he was accused of.
If the glove don't fit.
Yeah. You must have quit. And it just, I don't know. I almost wonder if we're getting a legit. If some of the stuff is done just for the entertainment aspect of it on this trial. And that's what I feel.
sure.
But again, I'm watching just the clips of it. Because something like, if this was done behind closed doors, I doubt it would have ever lasted this long.
Well, it's a free jury movie starring Johnny Depp.
Jacqueline says Ellen Barkin's testimony was the only bad against him. And which testimony was that?
Yeah, but Ellen Barkin, I wouldn't put too much behind her.
What was her
testimony.
yeah,
testimony?
she's a crazy.
She's
She's
been a
nutty
mess
cuckoo crazy. So
yeah, she's been a mess
yeah.
for a long time. Long time.
But I think they played a tape that she had said something about a while back and saying that, well, he was abusive and he was violent and blah, blah, blah. But if you go back and look at her record, she has some crazy shit that she's been in trouble for. So,
Yeah, like her and Jimmy Smits didn't get to, they did that one movie where she turns into Jimmy Smits or something like that.
Maybe I missed this, and you guys can explain because you follow Jane. I know you follow it more. Obviously, you guys follow a little more. What is the point of this whole trial? Like, what is the outcome expected to be?
Reputation.
It's just that's all it's for.
At this point, yeah.
Because of the libel.
Well, I mean, like, think about it. You have someone like Johnny Depp who had a very successful career, at least a very profitable one near the end, with multi-franchise deals through Disney. You had Amber Heard, who now has her whole deal with DC and Warner Brothers, and it's just how toxic the relationship was between them. It's gotten to a point where she has kind of ruined his whole career. Like we've said, like he has lost his opportunity with the Harry Potter series. He's lost his opportunity with any of these franchises that he's been able to actually have any sort of financial gain later on in his career. And he, along with a lot of other people, are not very happy about that, especially because they did have like a court case before all of this where I think he lost. So this is like the second time around where they've been going through. At least the second time around. It might be more.
Someone, I think, is trying to like clear his name.
Basically,
Get him out there.
yeah.
Right.
That's
The first
the
one,
best stuff.
the first libel case was against the magazine that printed the article
Yes.
that she put in, and that was in the UK. He lost that. At that point, when those allegations were out, that's when he lost Pirates of the Caribbean 6 and the Fantastical Beasts movies.
Ashley says they are trying to get her out of Aquaman now as well. And do you think it's going to hurt her? Do you think Marvel's getting rid of her? They are trying to push her out of Aquaman, so it's really about their movie careers, essentially.
Yeah. When it boils down to money.
But she doesn't have the career like he had. And that's why when she filed the suit, he went back at her, filing back at her for what she did and everything. So
We talked about a little bit briefly when we talked about Whoopi on The View and stuff like that, the whole canceling of people or getting them out of movies and stuff. Is this always the right direction? Honestly, regardless, say Johnny Depp did say all that stuff, and Johnny Depp did do all that stuff, are you going to not see the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie if he was in it? And I was saying, are you going to boycott Marvel movies if they don't get rid of her?
I'm sure some people will.
Or DC?
Not
sorry.
everybody, but I'm sure there will be a group of people that will stop, viewing that franchise because they didn't do anything about it.
You really think there's people that will not watch, Marvel fans will not
100
watch?
they're not
Marvel film
necessarily fans, but there is a large group of people
Yeah.
that are part of the cancel culture that won't go see movies if these people are in them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's really going to
Statistically
hurt the movie
speaking,
that bad, though. But you
Well,
think it's going to hurt the movies that bad? Look at the franchises.
but here's the thing: over 4 million people have signed a petition to get her out of Aquaman 2. Over 4 million. When it's just a couple thousand, Warner Brothers isn't looking at that. But when you have a petition that has over 4 million signatures at this point, what they did is they cut her role in that movie down to 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes, and they are not renewing her contract if they continue on with other franchise movies.
Okay, I guess that's totally fair. I always think that I don't know. I'm getting really tired. We talked about it too much, and I don't want to get too far into the cancel culture, but that's what I'm seeing so much of.
Yeah, people like to destroy each other.
I never
It's the American
understood
way.
why until the last 10 to 15 years nobody understood that everybody in Hollywood was low down dirty pieces of shit. Like that's the shit that goes on there. That was coming, And I was like, wait, Johnny Depp did, whoever did what, or whether it be,
They're all doing drugs.
yeah. How do you, like, I mean, going back as far back as fucking R. Kelly and that shit, like, or anybody like that, or whether it be Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, there wasn't a rock star I thought alive that wasn't fucking people backstage that were fans. Like, it's kind of certain things you used to kind of expect with that, and it was common knowledge, and now it's like, oh my god, and you got all these other
Good thing
your
you can't
headphones
hear
are on.
me.
All these other assholes that believe it.
Say goodnight.
That try to be the good guy, like, oh my god, I can't believe that. Like, going back, like Trump, the news van, and the talk that he did in the news van, where you had all these people act like they've never said these words in their life, or stuff to that relation, or anything where they act like they're better than everybody else. No, this is what you expected from the Hollywood elite, or just and rock stars and musicians and everybody when they're out there. You'd be hard pressed to find one. Oh, I'm surprised. They're a really nice person. You know, they're all stars.
At the very beginning of their career, they're probably very nice people.
Yes.
And then they get a lot of money and power with said money. So
I mean, I still think it today. Bieber is like hated. He's all happy. You don't think he's fucking half of his fans backstage, or getting whatever he wants, or anybody else out there?
I don't know. I think it would be probably the worst time to be a movie star in
Yes.
all of history. And I would never, ever in a million years want to be famous at this point, because it is such a fragile thing. People want to destroy you at every corner. Anything that you do, any choice that you make, any little slip up, any human mistake that you say, if you get aggravated or something, will be used against you to destroy you. Like, period.
And even if you aren't the person that is trying to destroy someone, the politics of Hollywood and the news media makes it look that way all the damn time.
And they dig deep for it. Like, it's
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer you did something, well, you were somebody. It's you did something 5 years before you knew how to grow a hair on your ball. That's what it seems like they're doing. They're going so far back. They're picking on people's college years and high school times and stuff like that before you even knew what you were going to do with your life.
Since the
You know.
beginning of time, the National Enquirer dug deep just to make you look bad because that's what sold their papers.
But we knew that was the Enquirer. We knew exactly what that magazine was.
yeah,
And
now
we
it's
still bought
every
it at the
place
newsstand.
is doing that.
And everyone read it. And there was the Enquirer, the Star, the Sun Times. I mean, they all did that, and everyone still bought the papers. And that's all the news media at that point in time, that type of papers, cared about was selling papers. That's why they had those big headlines. Oh, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, shit. So
I think we've lost the boundary between regular news magazines, and the tabloids, because I think a lot of the regular magazines, newspapers are printing stories that grab you the same way. Maybe not as far as the like aliens, abducted my husband type deal, but you can't separate that line anymore, because back then, if you read the Enquirer, you knew you were really reading celebrity gossip. Really,
Right. It was almost like
smart
satire.
people knew that. Some people still thought it was the Bible and stuff like that. But like you were just saying, the same thing goes on right now in the public media and stuff like that. With the virus that's been going on, people only read certain parts of what certain news media print, and then they're believing it and not reading the whole thing and knowing the whole situation that's going on.
Yeah. And but it's so blurred now. You can't rely, like you said, smart people would. I wouldn't say, necessarily just smart people, but you knew what you bought. If I bought Time magazine, or I bought even People magazine, I trusted in their stories a lot more than I would if I bought the Sun, or the Enquirer, or the Inquisitor, or whatever it happened to be that you were reading. And
Sun
now
was
it's a
great,
blurred
though.
line.
That boy and all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's where people, I think, have a hard time with the media, because you can't really trust a lot of what they print anymore, because a lot of it is just, it's gossip, it's what ifs, it's trying to find out all the dirt you can on somebody. And like I said, then the people out there got to act like, oh my God, that's so terrible. Mind you, I've done it all the time in my past, but that's awful.
Yeah. I can't believe when they were in college, they act like an irresponsible college student.
They acted like a college kid.
What?
How
Wait a minute.
fucking dare they?
They had sex when in college?
They didn't have a figured
Before
out
they
by
got
then?
married?
Or, what's his name? The guy in the wheelchair that lost the Republican primary vote. North Carolina, I can't remember his name.
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he went on TV too, and he's like, they invited me to have a party of sex or something. He goes, then it took a click in my head, oh my God, they're talking about an orgy. Like, you don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, you've never heard of this before.
What's
And
an
he's
orgy?
he's in his, I think he's late 20s or early 30s. I think he's late 20s.
What's an orgy?
Yeah. Like, you don't freaking know. And people try to play so innocent, and
band.
nobody...
I don't.
They did
Oh, it's a
one-
band?
Yeah, they did as a one-hit wonder.
Oh, okay.
How does it
Orgy, I
feel?
forgot about them.
Yeah, I've never heard that word before.
Totally.
You see people like that, and they're so innocent, and we don't believe it for a second, but I can't say that anymore because people do believe it. I don't know where we've lost that ability to separate obvious attacking, I guess, or obvious lying, for whatever, from reality. Like, we're better than them. I don't understand that.
But people are so prone to manipulation these days. In fact, they want to be manipulated. They want to sort of put their lives into this tight fit package of this is exactly who I am. This is who this represents me. You know, just not to get off topic, but like Elon
There
Musk.
is no topic. We're good.
Right? So Elon Musk, he's got sexual allegations against him right now. And shortly before that, or after that, after he had found out the news, he said that he's no longer going to vote Democrat.
I just saw that today.
So he is going to be Republican. So now you have this myriad of people that are on his side. They're his boy. Like they just fucking picked him in kickball. Like he's on our side now. No, he's a billionaire. He doesn't give a fuck about you. He's just saying that. He's the one thing that he has done very smartly over the years is he has been able to manipulate markets and decisions simply based on his tweets and things like that. But now you have all these people that are team him or whoever just because of one small comment. And
Well-
now they're going to defend him to the death.
The one thing I find funny, right? Because the same, I saw the post or whatever. They were talking. There was a string of them, like, oh, there's going to be some political news. Watch what's going to happen, right? But essentially, from what I got out of that post was, I'm still going to. My views haven't changed,
Yeah.
but now clearly my views align with the Republican Party. Was
Yes.
the post, right? It was the Democratic Party has gone further left than my views were initially. So now I align with the Republican Party.
Do you
and you've
think-
got people who on the right who are like, yeah, Elon Musk, he's the greatest guy ever. And you got people who used to love him on the other side going, now he's a horrible racist.
Before
Do
we
you
continue,
think he
before you
voted-
respond, and read the comment, because we're going to go off track from the comment, so I'll read the
Okay.
comment first. Jacqueline here, she says, think about Kim Kardashian when we first saw her, because she was a sidekick to Paris Hilton. Now everybody watches her stupid show, and that's what I was meaning by everybody just gets hooked on this, and they start to believe it, and yeah, it's just, there's no line, there's no separation between the two. You can go ahead and respond. I just wanted to get that out, because I didn't want to.
I remember the first time I saw Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was not a, I
was
gotta
not on
follow
TV.
this
Does anyone really forget their first time?
when it comes to Kim, I think they try. They could try. Okay, go ahead. Your response there, Gabe.
No, I was going to say, do you really think that he voted Democrat in the first place?
No, I wouldn't.
Why would he?
I don't see why he would.
Right.
He might have maybe 12 plus years ago.
Yeah.
But once they started talking about, taxing the 1% and that, if I were him, I would not want that policy in office, right? I would not fight
Exactly.
for taxing me when I'm already getting taxed,
Right.
So I don't.
But he said he was going to buy Twitter, and now I guess Snoop Dogg's going to buy Twitter. So yeah.
No, he already bought Twitter.
Definitely not.
I read somewhere allegedly that he's already lost a considerable amount on the Twitter investment, just because of his reputation right now on the platform itself. It's a weird sense of irony, at least from what I've read so far.
I don't know why it's a big issue. Do people forget that it's the people that make Twitter?
I don't
It's
know.
what you
I
say,
don't-
it's what you do that actually makes Twitter what Twitter is. You know, just like Facebook or anything else out there, it's the people that use it that matter, not who owns it.
right.
Well,
I mean,
him buying it though was kind of a big deal, because he was going into it pretty much, and I don't know if it actually happened, but he was saying that he's going to stop limiting free speech. Right, so he was going to pretty much go back to allowing people post whatever their feelings were, and it wouldn't get banned because it was one side or the other side. It was just free speech is back. Say what you want to say on Twitter. Right, so
And anyone that
why
was banned,
bought
he was
it.
going to let them back in. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who was banned for the hate speech and that, he was going to say, okay.
And his first thing was he
free
said, "I'm going to
speech
let
back.
Trump back on Twitter." So
But at the
Which
same
are-
time, when you look at all of his intellectual properties, he's looking to get 38,000 satellites to cover the sky globally to provide paid for internet service. He has SpaceX, which is a privatized space program that is leasing their space to the U.S. government and is going to get to these various places. You have obviously Tesla, and now you have the $4 billion option to purchase Twitter, which is algorithms and exactly what you need to sort of point in the direction that society sort of needs to go. So you throw all that shit together, does that worry you?
no. No, not at all.
Under one blanket?
No, that doesn't really worry me. Google's been trying to do that for years. Before that, Yahoo and Microsoft were doing it. I mean, they're all going to try to do it, and if they do it, they do it. I mean, think about almost all the stuff we use. It's already monopolized in one way or another, whether it be gas, electricity, utilities, phone companies. Phones themselves is between two major companies that are pretty much competing and trying to do it all out there. Internet service around here, Comcast got that shit locked down. You know, for most, you have small choice, and no matter how many lawsuits go on, you still end up still having very few choices in the matter. And what's wrong with locking a lot of that down to free internet? Google has been trying this, I think, longer. I think Google's got a much better shot at succeeding here because Google's got their fingers in every fucking pie out there.
But I'm talking infrastructure for providing internet.
Well, yeah. That's what Google's been trying to do for a long time.
Yeah, but they're talking like you can get internet in the Congo type of thing.
Yeah. Well, didn't he send some of those units over to Ukraine when all that started?
He just activated them.
He just activated them? Okay.
Right.
Ashley says Elon Musk's mother is like Nancy Reagan. She just has some control over him. Laugh out loud.
I don't know. I have a problem with all of that.
I mean, I kind of do, but
the
that's...
thought of all of that sort of scares me, and it seems like all of the the evil corporations that you see in these movies and things like that. When something gets so big, that
Anthony has the worst free frames this episode, by the way. If anybody
it
hasn't
takes. When you produce as much money as a third world country, or even not a third world country, and you have that much money just to do as you please, and you have that much control over sort of that internet connections and things like that. I don't know.
Okay,
terrifies me.
let me get to
The-
Drina
the
here.
reason I'm
Drina
not too
says,
sorry.
go ahead. I'll do Drina first. Drina says, watching the Suicides, Detroit, Michigan. Glad to have you back, Drina. We love having you here. What are we talking about? UFO secrets? We can get to that in a minute. UFO secrets are good, and sorry I'm late. We'll get to UFOs in a minute. I'm fine with that. Go ahead, Anthony.
The reason I'm not too concerned with it is mainly because it is Elon Musk. And I know that's weird, but with the things that he's done, and like with Tesla, I know they've got a plant in Texas, and they're poaching a bunch of people because they're paying them so well and giving them, like, they're treating their employees amazingly,
Yeah.
right? So if he was your typical rich asshole, that wouldn't be happening. And I just feel like if anyone would be the person that I'd feel comfortable with, it would be him.
I kind of
That
agree
he's
with that.
Openly stated
Oh.
that we should not stop investing in fuel for cars, but he owns Tesla. And you think of all people he would push
Right.
for the electric cars, but he's saying it's not there yet. We're like, need to keep doing this because we're not ready. So
you're thinking he's doing to move things in the right direction.
I think he's got a good. He's doing it for good reasons.
But do you think he's doing it
You
for
think
the
he's doing
masses?
everything
or-
that he does? You think he's doing for a good reason? So
Not
when he bought
everything,
Twitter,
but
No.
so he's buying
Hey.
Twitter and he's doing everything. All right. So just a question to everyone here on the panel and anyone else: if he's going to be another guy that's got a whole stack of money and he wants to run for president, are you going to vote for him?
I don't know. I'm
No.
one of those people that honestly, it would just depend on what he wanted to do as president.
I'd have to see his policies.
Yeah.
My
That's
bigger
the thing.
question
And-
would be, you know, it doesn't seem as though he's catering to sort of every man class. It seems like there's a
He's not.
tier
Yeah.
between the elite and all of his IPs, with the exception of the satellites, are for a tier above most middle class to lower class society. So if you create a monopoly with all of these things like Tesla and, you know, a lot of these cars that are out of the price range of most people, that they're not going to do,
Right.
and you continue with this type of product where, you know, privatized space, where you have to spend $10 million, you know, in order to get to this thing, you know, to Mars or wherever.
So you don't go to Mars.
Well, the only thing I ever said, right? The only thing I ever said, even like Ross Perot, when Ross Perot was running and before Trump got elected, my thought is you guys are going to try to elect someone who's got a whole bunch of money and doesn't have any idea about politics and don't have any marbles. And if you get a guy like Elon Musk that has more money than anyone else walking the fucking earth, he's going to do what he wants to do.
Sure.
To a point, but if you listen to them, sometimes people can surprise you. And I might, if Elon was ever to run for president, I might hear what he wants to do, what he wants to change, what he believes. And I might say, you know what, this is the guy that I would like to see up there, or it might not be. I don't base it, I don't care how much money you have. You can go to Ross Perot when he tried running way back when and tried to pretty much use his money to ride it. You had Trump, who was a very rich businessman, or at least as far as most people were concerned, who tried to do it. You had your plus and best. And me personally, I didn't like the way he was going to do it as far as policy-wise, so I was not a fan of him. I didn't like what he was going to do. But if I would have been a fan of everything he said, I would have probably turned to that direction too. I don't think it's based solely on money. I think we do live in a world of stupid people, though. So
I don't think he can be.
we do
I don't
look
think he
at-
can be president
we do
anyway.
look- We do look
I believe he
at
was
how
born in
they
South
say they're
Africa.
going to run
He's South African.
and what they're going to do. We look at that because they're running and they're telling you, we're going to do this when we get office, we're going to do this in the office, going to do this. So over the span of time that we've all been alive, there's not been a whole lot of presidents that have actually done what they're going to do. And you get these guys who are megalomaniacs with the money and stuff like that, you know it's not going to happen. So,
I do think,
and they're going to do what they want to do when they get in there.
but I think the previous administration taught people a lesson. I do. I think it taught them to look closer at what they were voting for and what they were doing and to pay a little bit more attention than just having somebody in there. Because a lot of people who didn't vote for him found out, hey, it wasn't so bad. And some people that did vote for him were not happy with the choices he made. So I think it taught people to pay a little bit more attention. I think, like I always said, I think he was a necessary stepping stone, whether you liked him or not. I think he was necessary for...
Yeah, but this the mess that we're in right now
I agree.
isn't any better.
Presidency.
Right, but as far as like the election aspect of it, as
Yeah.
far as, you know, not to just jump on a bandwagon, I would hope that people will be more cautious and not believe everything they see. But again, like I said, we are in a world of stupid people sometimes. They don't pay attention, they don't want anything else. And so I can see your fear, Bill. But Gabe, my question to you, you were talking about it doesn't scare, or ask if scared, I said it doesn't really scare me, you said it scares you. Give me an example of like the worst case scenario. What do you think the worst case scenario is going to be if
You ever see
Elon Musk takes control
Elysium?
of all that?
Elysium. That would be it.
Okay, well that was a good.
You
I
have-
didn't expect a one-word answer, but
Yeah. Where you have all of the rich people living in gigantic space stations around the globe, and we're just working for them.
We're
Yeah,
down
it's
here
Essentially
digging in the
where we're
mine.
at now.
Yeah,
How is
exactly.
that
Dig
really
like the
different?
troglodytes dig, Captain Kirk.
They just have more technology than we do.
Right.
yeah.
And I will say, like with the whole comment on Tesla being out of reach for the average person, I don't know 100%, but I want to say he ended up making the Model 3 or creating the Model 3 to be the budget version of an electric car to make it more accessible for the average person. I think when
Yeah.
it came out, wasn't it like 30 grand, which was, pretty much par with the course for most vehicles. I don't know what it's at now, but
Right.
Do you think one person actually has that kind of power, even with all that money? Because he may not have more money than any one person or one individual in the world, but not the combined efforts of other companies and other people out there. Do you think one person has the power to take them all over and just eventually do that in today's society and world? Do you think we'd allow that to happen?
Yes.
You are a negative Nancy. I don't like that.
I'm just
I don't-
what I'm
I
saying
disagree,
is
Gabe.
so here's the thing. You have, and he's come out and said that money doesn't really exist. It's just a matter. He's done interviews where he said money isn't really real. It's more about influence and power. He said this.
Yeah.
He's very honest
Well, he's a
about
smart
saying
man.
right. He's a smart guy. I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just letting you know. He said that when you get that money, that much money, that's when you can influence. And with so much money going to a small group of people, you can spend that however you want to in order to influence governments. You can influence third world governments. You can do whatever you want to in order to influence that, because you are just throwing cash at everything. And cash is king to everybody else, but power and influence is what's most important to the super elite, is what I'm saying. But whatever.
Jacqueline says still enough charging stations for electric or hybrid cars to travel in certain areas. Do you mean there's not enough charging stations?
Well, the
Yeah,
Michigan
but
power
building
grid's
that
not
too.
good enough. I can tell you that much. I had a discussion with my brother-in-law.
Gene, say something. You're quiet.
She's absorbing.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm just.
with the notice saying that we might have to do, planned blackouts here in Michigan because our power grid's not powerful enough. But let's keep pushing for electric cars that have to get plugged in at
Right.
night.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
in winter. Stuff for
I-
Michigan winter. Yeah,
I
like I'd ever buy
100%
one.
agree we're not ready for electric cars worldwide by
way.
far. That we're not even close. But, the idea of a hybrid car was, I think, that's the direction to go first and then move on from that.
Hybrids would be smart, but
Yes.
they've gone to the point now where everyone is going purely electric.
Because they're
there's
just trying to jump into it.
It's the
And
mad
it's-
dash to be electric. You want to be we're green, but we're gonna have to open up more coal power plants now to keep the grid going for all the electric cars.
Yeah. Well, dipping into that, they said, because I watched this show, what's his name? John Oliver just did something about the power companies and how essentially, any sort of renewable energy is counterproductive to them because they make the most money from infrastructure, and it's not about fixing the stuff they got. It's about starting up new multi-billion-dollar plants and things like that, nuclear facilities, stuff like that. So they've actually passed some laws in certain states where they're trying to get the money for that to go back into infrastructure that's already been built. Because all the fires that were started in California from that one electric company, it started off of a hook in the forest that was, I want to say, over 80 years old and never got changed out.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Well, we're so
and
concentrating.
there was one
on,
right down the line that was just as worn down.
like you were saying, we're all trying to go green and do the right things and all this other stuff. We're not repairing current technology we have. We're not improving upon technology we have. We're trying to directly replace, which everything, I personally believe everything I want to do, the idea of going full electric, I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
The idea of having, I think it's great, but not if you jump like this, because you're hurting way too much. They're not going to be reliable. People are going to forcefully want to go back to gas-powered vehicles because, like I said, the grids can't handle it. Unless you're Ashley, suggest get off the grid, which is a good idea too. I know a lot of people that want to do that, including myself. I just want to get off the grid sometimes. On there, but we're trying so hard to achieve this that we're not paying attention to what we've already developed over the past 50, 100 years.
Well, and the fact that they could let a hook get 80 years old, and what is the maintenance schedule on these things? Right? There's got to be some PM schedule that they have to maintain every 20 years, maybe, or so.
don't.
But 80 years, you're going to go without. That's a big fuck.
I mean,
up.
you would hope. You
Pardon
would
the
hope,
French.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point you would.
But that's the thing. It's like you have all of this, and I think DTE at this point is sort of a replace when broken sort of a thing when it comes to infrastructure. Like if a pole comes down that was probably had a red tag around it and should have been brought down 20 years ago because it's not safe to climb, and then all of a sudden it just falls over and there goes the generators and things like that. Okay, yeah, now it's time.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Well,
the bulk of the business.
We just need to make demand the government to put out the plans for the car that runs on water, and we'll all be fine.
And that goes back to our UFO secrets.
Except for human.
Going full circle. But no, that is. I get where your fear comes from. I think on the side with Anthony, I don't think it's possible that this guy is going to Elysium. Okay,
We'll bookmark this show and come back.
okay, we'll come back to it. I hope we don't have to. I do hope we don't have to. I don't think it's possible for one person to do that. Not in today's world. I think there's too much power in other areas. They may not, one person may not equal the power of another, but multiple people do.
Well, I feel
And-
like one person can't do it on their own, but they can definitely amass a group with like minds to do.
Yes, they can, but they have
Yeah.
to do that first.
How much power does the guy that has all the money in the world have to influence others and have them as part of his power?
I don't know. It seems to be me that most people who have all the money in the world, I fucking don't give a rat's ass about. And they don't have a big influence
You also
on
have
me.
money to hire an army. You can do that.
You need people to do that army for the right reasons. I mean,
Money.
Yeah, that's it.
what's the point of the money at that point? I don't know. What's the point of having all that money at that point? What's the point of working for somebody that's going to do that? What's the point of having money in a world you don't want to live in and can spend it?
Mercenaries are a thing.
That's true.
People that have that much money are megalomaniacs, and their brain ain't right. Doesn't matter.
Haven't you seen the Panther?
I started watching that. I don't know.
It's
we can go-
hilarious.
we can go.
It's hilarious.
Let's go to movies.
You have to finish watching
Oh.
the Panther. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Okay.
Mike Myers.
Speaking about
strikes
movies,
again. He's still
the new
got it.
Firestarter, don't watch it.
New
Not worth the
Firestarter
time.
was absolutely terrible. They took
was
everything
awful.
from the original Firestarter that made it good out of the movie and just gave you what was left over, and it was awful.
It wasn't. No.
Yeah. They destroyed the characters. And you know what? It was so bad that the best part about that movie was Zac Efron, who did a great job in his acting ability. He was really good for the part. He was great for the part, but he was surrounded by a terrible story. Just all the emotion was gone from that film. It wasn't the same. But he actually did a fantastic job in that role.
That's good.
He had a booger hanging out of his nose 3 different times in the movie,
favorite
and
parts.
they kept it in there.
Yummy.
And then I just recently myself watched the new Doctor Strange movie. Right?
So good.
Now, I followed it and I loved it, but my thoughts were that most people,
I can actually agree
are
with
going
you.
to sit there, and when they're talking about this verse and this verse and this verse, and they went back and forth. Most of my friends don't have the. I can't say anything. They couldn't follow it. All right.
Yeah.
They would just sit there and go,
Following wasn't
"Wow,"
a problem.
and they would turn it off.
What was your problem with it?
I didn't
No-
have a
no
problem with it. I
spoilers.
liked it. Keith had a problem with it.
It was stupid. First of all,
It was
first
stupid.
of all, I'm giving reasons why it was stupid. First of all, without trying not to really provide major spoilers to it,
Take your head.
WandaVision did not have to exist because they destroyed everything they worked for in WandaVision. Her whole arc, everything shot to hell. Who cares anymore? They destroyed that part. How many redemption arcs does fucking Wanda get, too, while we're at it?
Well, you know,
She's not that interesting of a
it's
character.
it's Marvel.
No, but they're trying to centralize her, and WandaVision was a good show, and they did a complete story, which was good, but this movie literally just said, fuck WandaVision. Everything that she learned, everything she did, we're just going to throw that out the window.
How so, though?
And why is that? Wait, Keith, why is that? You know why? Because they're not making the movies in the right order, so you know what the hell is going on and shit, and it's not following right.
If I could add, actually, I think the issue that stems from it is, especially with this phase specifically after Rousseau brothers. I mean, I think that there's some issues still with those movies, but specifically with this phase with WandaVision, everything that has come out since like the whole COVID, like pausing everything, is that the director is given much more ability to put themselves into the work that they're being produced throughout Marvel, which is fine. I prefer that personally, but you also have to keep in mind that this is a universe that you're trying to keep consistent over several decades and still try to keep fresh and marketable. It's a very difficult tightrope that they're trying to do, and they were able to do it for 10 years, and they feel as though they can do it for an additional 20. Which is fine. You can try to do that, and if anything, I kind of like that they're trying to do things that are weird and do things that are different, but it's also going to cause a lot of issues on how well done a story is going to be, both in the structure of this whole universe as well as the film itself as a contained movie. Can it hold up in that respects? Outside of just being a part of this massive universe, and it becomes very difficult, I think, at this point, right? Because there's so many rules you're going to have to follow, and so many directors have already broken so many of those rules. It
But
kind of
we're
becomes
talking
something nuts.
We're talking consistency over a year from WandaVision
I
to
don't
Doctor
understand.
Strange.
Well, that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying is that
understand
there's a
why you-
lack of consistency, which comes
Not over,
from.
I know, but I'm saying it's not over like the 10 years or 20 years that they've been doing this stuff. I'm pissed off because they just did WandaVision. Should not have been hard to stay consistent. And really,
But
the
how are
whole
they not
basis
consistent?
of it had to do with something she fucking created in her mind. Okay, there should not be alternates or anything like that. I get the infinite alternates or all, infinite multiverse, but there shouldn't be the alternate. She created this shit from scratch in her head. She could fucking do it again without help of going to another universe.
I think my issue is that I can find everything in her story believable, like what she wants to achieve, whether you're in the argument of, it should all just be in her head, or if it just wasn't for that universe, however you want to do it, but let's even taking that out of the equation, it kind of feels as though that they ramped up a lot more of those negative qualities of her character, specifically just so that way she was a convincing and scary enough antagonist throughout the film.
That's what I was
will
meaning.
say, she had a lot of really great moments that fit what I would say a Scarlet Witch would be very interesting to see. But I wouldn't say that is the Wanda that we were able to connect with back in
Right.
January.
That's
it feels
my problem,
feels so
is-
that they're completely different characters of how they've been handled, and that's going to cause a lot of issues, right? Because it's a Disney. I'm sorry, I'll end it here because it's a Disney Plus show in comparison to being a film, right? You have to condense so much, which was also handled by a different team of writers and directors and a whole crew. And now that you have it done, especially in a Doctor Strange film where she shouldn't have been so much of the focus, though she was, it causes a lot of those issues, and that's where I'll wrap it.
Well, that's
So
where.
was that was hang on, just
No, you're
so
good.
in the second Doctor Strange movie that she was in, was that the first time that she referred to herself as the Scarlet Witch, saying,
Yeah.
"You're not going to have to deal with Wanda, you're going to have to deal with the Scarlet Witch"?
In the
Is that the
movies,
first
yeah.
time?
In the movies,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I definitely
Because
did
she
movies
became
along
the
with
Scarlet
movies.
Witch in WandaVision at the end.
Right.
Yeah, or cinema.
And then
And
the
she's a
Dark
great
Hold
Scarlet Witch.
Was
I love the
reason
character.
She went from WandaVision to Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the whole premise of that. The reasoning behind it is the Darkhold. Is why
Yeah.
she went from normal, sane person to cuckoo, crazy bitch.
Is it
I will-
called
I will-
the
See, I didn't watch
Dark Hole?
WandaVision,
Yes,
but
it
I'm
is.
going to have to now.
Really?
Damn it. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
They called it
I
the
actually-
Dark Hole?
That's what it is. The
Dark
Dark Hold, with a
With
D.
a
Oh,
D.
okay.
Not the Dark Hole.
Okay.
That's a different movie that I'd love to see.
Behold, Wanda's Dark Hole.
It's going to be dark.
I was
I
going to
mean,
say, these writers need
We
to...
could have a nice
How did they
little
get this
spin-off
movie to
there.
be PG-13? How did they do it?
I thought they did.
Well,
I thought they did a pretty
I
good
thought
You
that
job.
was
just whistle
fine.
a little bit and say, hey.
They definitely pushed the boundaries. Of
Oh, okay.
PG-13.
Jacqueline says that Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful. They won't get rid of her. And again, I'm actually very happy in the film what they did with Scarlet Witch as far as being the Scarlet Witch. Don't get me wrong. But because of WandaVision, I thought it was terrible. You destroyed a character that we
Empathize
pretty much...
with.
Yeah, we came to terms with what she did. She came to terms with it. It was good. It was a good ending. She could return as Wanda and the Scarlet Witch. That's cool. But they just destroyed that. And you call this the multiverse of madness? That most of that movie took place in our universe and one other one. And then a magical, like, let's play with musical notes thing that made no fucking sense whatsoever. It was cool, but it made no fucking sense.
There were,
I think
there were a couple different universes.
Flashes.
Yeah.
I think another issue with it too, right, is now you have to try
Let me know when
to.
you're done.
Yeah.
Well, I think
the
something.
Cape didn't have enough things going on because the Cape is like the major character too, so it just didn't have enough going on. So just saying.
So speaking of Disney shows, what is everybody thinking of the new trailer for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law?
All right, she's not big enough to be the fucking She-Hulk. All right, thank you.
That's the character we were missing, was
The
She-Hulk.
CGI looks
And
so
it
bad.
looks so bad.
So
it looked
bad.
I thought it was almost like watching a trailer for the original Incredible Hulk in some ways.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, that's kind of what I
Maybe
got
that was the
flashbacks
idea.
of.
They should have just went with practical effects and then put her in it, you know.
It's not like they haven't already done that with Gamora. They're already doing a green
Right,
woman practically.
And then just make her bigger, you know. That's where you can put your CGI. Have a real person with green makeup like Gamora and just supersize her. That's
Yeah.
it.
That
It would be more convincing.
I'm definitely not looking forward to that show, which I will watch. Just because I'm going to have to. I mean,
I'm
They got
excited
me
because
hooked.
I think it gets us that much closer to Howard the Duck coming back in like his own thing.
they already had that Flash. Nothing happened from it.
No, I want a
They
whole
had it,
thing.
was it Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, that's just a little snippet. I want like a whole show.
No, I know, but they had like the intro like it's going to happen or something, and nothing ever came of it. I was trying to remember which movie they had that in.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was Guardians 2, but I could be wrong.
Probably.
Yeah, where they had him. Howard the Duck was
So
kind of cool and
my friend that's chatted in here, Ashley, just called me Bruce. I got her to watch Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it
that's
works.
why she's now she's Ashley just called me Bruce, and she
She's
loves
Ash
the shit.
Williams, just called her. Evil Dead was a good one. They're remaking all
And
this
she
stuff.
is she's
Are they
a young
still gonna
girl,
make them
but she
comedies?
loved the shit.
No, even movies are starting to delve into like two genres, either like drama Academy Award type film or superhero comedy. It's like a lot
Well,
of what you
the
get
Evil Dead was
nowadays.
hilarious because the first one wasn't a comedy; it was serious. Then the
But the
second one
second
was
one-
more comedy, and then Army of Darkness was real comedy. So
But they knew what to do
and
with
Bruce,
it.
Campbell
Yeah.
was fucking great.
They knew what to do with the film with Evil Dead. The first one came out, they realized the aspects that were funny, they were able to poke fun at themselves, and they just had a good time
Yep.
with it, and that's why it became so good, and Bruce Campbell's iconic. For that role, Ash vs. Evil Dead was fantastic. Friday the 13th they're redoing. That's finally, they're doing a prequel series for that. Now they're finally getting things under wraps, which is going to be interesting. Welcome back, Gabe.
Audio.
The new
went back in the
Halloween
right order.
29
There
is
we go.
coming out. Well,
Well, we still have Halloween Ends coming out. There's a lot of movies still coming out. I did not like the Doctor. Another one, and Jane will disagree, but if you're really stoned, maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once would be good. But
That movie.
That
that
was-
breaks my heart that you don't like that movie.
has anybody actually seen it yet?
I have.
what movie?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Everybody all at once?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was in theaters for a while, and it was like a sleeper hit original, and it took off. It gained some ground from it. But if you're really stoned or on shrooms, it's probably a great movie.
I don't
But
think that's
literally,
the
when
case.
they go in, there's one where like we're in a universe where everybody has hot dogs for fingers, and I'm thinking this is legit. This is in there. That line is actually
Sexual
in
thing?
there.
Holy hell.
Oh, it gets that way towards the end.
An aging
was just
Chinese
an awful
immigrant
movie.
is swept up in an insane adventure where she alone can save the world by exploring other universes connecting with the lives she could have led. That
He's
sounds
got
like a
short
stoner
round in
movie.
it, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a stoner movie, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, without the comedy. Mixed with Rick and
not a
Morty,
good
which is
sell.
good. Mixed with Family Guy a little bit in there, and just self-explained. Like it's one of those
Every
movies.
damn episode of Beavis and Butthead.
Yes, Beavis and Butthead in there. It was one of those movies that was kind of like Rick and Morty. As much as I think Rick and Morty is a good show for what it is, I don't think Rick and Morty's bad, or Big Bang. It's where they overly explain people so that people can like it and say that they're smart for getting it when they only got it because it was over-explained. You
Right.
know, one of those type of things. So the movie points out everything to you, and most people, and I'm not talking about you, Jane, but a lot of people I talk to are just like, oh, you just didn't get it. You just got to be smart for it. I'm like, no, it told you exactly what the fuck was going on. And it was terrible. But aside from that, that's just another one that I recommend. If you do see it, you may love it, but be stoned off your fucking ass.
I think the biggest issue with the film is definitely its writing for sure. Like there was a lot of really good opportunities for comedy that was definitely needed for the film. Though I would say like visually, I would say that the overarching story is really good. I think the effects are really well done. I think I think it looks good. I think it's a good looking film. I recommend it.
The effects aren't bad and stuff like that, but it's really, I don't know. If you liked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'll probably like it.
That's good.
To a
That's
point.
fair.
I guess
That's fair.
one way to say
Then I'll
it.
like it.
Yeah, but be stoned. Definitely be
Okay.
stoned.
Well.
Because I am thinking about, smoking a big old blunt and trying to watch it again.
All right.
Just to find out if I can find it. Like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, all I remember, and I love it, is Earth turned into a ball of yarn. There was a factory making them at one point. That's all I remember. I was stoned off my ass, and I loved it. I was like,
I watched a Clive Barker film in a movie theater, and to this day, I still don't remember a single second of it.
I watched
one?
Up in 3D and it was amazing.
all right.
I
Ashley
also
Sands.
remember Up in 3D being amazing. That was unbelievable.
There may or may not have been some recreational use.
Most
prior
powerful
to-
Oh.
superhero of all time.
I'm sure that would have made it even better.
Ashley's asking who we think the most powerful superhero is of all time. That's a good question.
Superman.
Well, so it has to
Thrasher,
do
how you
with
doing? Glad to have you here.
Oh, Thrasher.
Forge.
all it has to do is with you have mental powers, you have physical powers and stuff like that. Like I said, Scarlet Witch is really powerful and stuff like that. The Hulk, when I was reading the comics with the Hulk all the time, anytime he got beat up, he got stronger, better, and beat the hell out of everybody. And they brought into later in the world, in time, Juggernaut. who you could not hit him, you could not hurt him, you could not do anything to him. Even though we saw in that one movie they put him in a puddle of water and stuck a fucking wire cable up his ass and shocked his ass. But
Well,
and there used to be Wonder Man who was untouchable. And there's Morbius.
in this universe of just the Marvel
Don't say that name here.
film universe, it's either Scarlet Witch or Captain Marvel. Captain
I
Marvel
would go between the two.
is
And I was going to go
probably-
with Captain Marvel
Captain Marvel is
myself
the
to
most
say what I
powerful,
chose.
like, period.
But not in the Multiverse of Madness. Their version of Marvel was no
I would
good.
say. I would
yeah.
say. Oh no, yeah, I guess it would be Captain Marvel, wouldn't it? Because I was
Well, she
thinking
doesn't
Thanos,
have-
but Thanos only was able to be Captain Marvel with using one of the stones.
Yeah. He was just evil, really.
But she
Right.
would have beat
Well,
him.
the only
Right,
thing that
without the
nobody
stone.
else-
That's what I'm saying.
Would have if nobody else would have interfered.
Right.
So the whole and
Right.
there's
But
whole
the other thing
fanfare
too is
about
the Scarlet
if-
Witch would have
if
killed
Iron Man would've
would have
just
killed Thanos
not
if no one in the middle,
messed with it.
and she wasn't helping Vision stay alive. And you also had Captain Marvel where she choked down Thanos and she could have just popped his fucking head off.
Yeah.
But they were trying to find out where the stones were and stuff. But it goes back and forth all the time, I guess. So I mean, it's pick and choose. But
By the way,
the
Ashley,
thing
what's
is,
your favorite? Just curious. Or who do you think's most powerful?
they're saying about superheroes. They're not even
Emo
talking about
Batman.
supervillains because there are so many supervillains that are actually who have walked away that are stronger than the superheroes in the multiverse. So
Like Doomsday for Superman.
Galactus,
yeah.
maybe.
Galactus, yeah.
People used to say Superman and
Yeah.
stuff, but they're not because they lose their powers depending on where they are or what they're surrounded. Thrasher says, first he says Forge said if you give Forge a junkyard and tell him to make an anti-Kryptonian gun that will kill everyone on Earth, he could make it and not even understand how he did it, which is, I mean, that's powerful and definitely on the verge of psychotic and insane. But his answer is Iceman. I would have to really go with, as far as Marvel goes, I would definitely have to go with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
For sure on that one. But there is the thing to be said for Scarlet Witch, because Scarlet Witch is a bad bitch. I mean, you go far enough.
But
I
she
mean-
is. I mean, Captain
Nope.
Marvel is part Infinity Stone, you know, and
She
she's
frees your
the
blood
only
from
one
the other side of
left.
the planet.
you can't always look at the movies. You have to read on the comics and what they did
Well,
with
that's
her
what
and
Thrasher's
who
going
she
with,
was
too.
and what's going on. Yes.
Well, according to the '80s Marvel role-playing game with the cards that we used to play, you remember that? two from the front, 4 from the back. It's Captain Marvel and Silver Surfer too.
Nope, it's Halle Berry as Storm. I'm just saying that's what it
Yes.
is. Halle Berry as
Yes.
Storm. Yes.
But only that version of Storm.
Only, that's why I didn't say Storm. I said Halle Berry as Storm.
Yes.
That is a very important distinction.
Yes.
Not
That's
Halle
one bad
Berry
bitch.
as Batwoman. Or
No, not as Catwoman.
Catwoman, yeah.
No, but that would be Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah.
That one.
There we go.
And he says Carnage took over Silver Surfer. It's really hard because they give all these superheroes some kind of weakness, and they're the stupidest weaknesses in the world. They're good for comics, but they don't work always in movies because there's always a way to beat them. So it's really hard to pick if you're going straight along the movie line.
That's what scares me when they finally do Doctor Doom. Like, how are they going to do that? I have no clue.
Well, they already did in Sony already did it in Fantastic. Was it?
But did they?
Yeah, that
I didn't say they did it right. I'm saying they did it.
right. So, what I mean is, like, what is the MCU going to do with that character? You know what I mean? Like, I have no clue. I would want him to be seen as like a really big and important like bad guy, but I don't know. I also don't want to see them kind of like use him forever, like it feels though they do with a lot of these characters.
Squirrel Girl off panel to Bill.
Oh, definitely Squirrel Girl, 100%.
I don't know who else I would. I could definitely pick some of the weakest ones, but definitely not the strongest. I think X-Men always had the right. That's the sad thing is the Sony X-Men
All
went
right.
downhill.
So you have to
much.
think about this. Rogue. So Rogue had the ability to suck up anybody's power. So she could have been anyone she wanted.
She had to touch
in the
him,
later
though.
comics.
Yeah, but what
Right.
she did to
Yeah.
do it, what she had to do.
Well, don't talk about. This is not the sex show or the pervert show, so stop that.
But she's only going to be as strong as the person that she touches. So
Right.
that
But
whoever
she,
that person
in the
was
later-
is the one
And I'm
with
just
the
going.
strength.
I'm going with the comics. I'm going with the comics that I read.
Yeah.
She can absorb 10 people's powers at a time and have all those powers.
Sure.
So if she hit Colossus, Wolverine,
Man,
Dr.
Captain
Xavier,
Marvel could just go pop, beam, you're blown up.
and if
That's
she
the
got,
problem
if
with
she
all
got
of them.
hold of,
See, at some point, I think
He's
it just
got
becomes a
hold of-
giant clusterfuck, doesn't it?
she
Right.
can absorb everything. So
Almost every
I'm just
superhero
saying.
out there, minus Batman, who can't do shit, almost every superhero out there has some kind of ability or supervillain that could literally make mincemeat of every other hero out there. They just never think to use it properly.
Right.
You know,
And
whether it
that's
is.
the problem with
So we-
having Hawkeye on the same team as the
Oh
Incredible
yeah,
Hulk.
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
It's just not
Well, hey.
going to even up.
Very true. Very true. And that's, I mean, well, you can take,
So you
can
got
take the
Hawkeye and he's
Avengers.
just shooting arrows and stuff like that. But think of my girl. Who they saying that? What's that saying?
Molecule Man
Uh,
is a good one. He is a bad guy, but
Think
that's another
of-
good one.
think
You're
of
into
Scarlet
comics, aren't you,
being-
Thrasher? I like that.
Think of Scarlet and who she was and stuff like that. She had no superpowers, and even Agent Carter had no superpowers.
That's why they're canceled.
So,
That's why it's a
but it
one
was
and
still
done.
there. I'm
Right.
just saying. So
It's
who's
true.
your guy's favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, and
Yeah.
regardless of what they can do, Jean
No
Grey
matter what.
slash
Who's your
Phoenix.
favorite superhero?
Jean Grey.
Come back to me.
Gabriel?
Come back to me.
Anthony?
Emo Batman.
Yes.
Fuck you. Like right there.
I had to say that. I had to say it.
James?
I don't really know.
I guess I would say Batman. Batman or Spider-Man, but I would lean on Batman
Gabriel?
more.
Yeah.
Gabriel?
Well, growing up, it was definitely Silver Surfer. I had a airbrushed fucking jean jacket.
So I'm like Gabriel. So
No.
mine was
and
Mine
everything.
was Silver Surfer and Black Bolt. And I liked Black Bolt because he never talked. And it didn't matter who you were. If you were Superman or anyone else, he could blow you up with his eyes, with his mind. So
Speaking of superheroes, out of curiosity, how do you feel about having another Black Panther movie without Black Panther?
It's going to
I
be
did-
interesting.
That whole movie has been going through so many problems.
They need to be very delicate with that whole situation.
So who's going to be the new Black Panther?
There is none. They decided to make the sequel movie, and since Chadwick died, they're not going to have Black Panther in the Black Panther Wakanda
Well,
movie.
It was originally going to be the person who plays his sister,
As,
but
I think
then
that
she
would be the
had-
smartest move.
but then she
got hurt.
caused some sort of like she refused to follow like COVID mandates that were on set or something. Or something happened with her, and now I don't know what their relationship is. I believe the film right now is just in like a development situation. Like they don't know when it's going to be done. It's been pushed back and stuff.
Thrasher says about the comics he's read every single Spider-Man issue, Amazing Spider-Man issue. Just don't want to say Frank Richards, and Daredevil is his favorite of all time.
Daredevil's a good one.
I will say, as far as favorites go, I'm a little bit on your side, Jane, with like Batman. I always had a thing for the ones who weren't superheroes that became superheroes. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't get exposed to anything. Bitten by a spider, injected with spider venom, or whatever it has to be, dropped into a vat of acid.
They were just rich, brooding, the elitists. Is that why you don't worry?
That's why
Okay,
don't
so-
worry. Bruce
Everything
Wayne.
connects.
I saw a
'Cause you
meme or
think
something
Elon
that
Musk
was like,
is Bruce
Elon Musk
Wayne.
has all
Jacqueline
this
says-
money, but he's not Batman yet.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Jacqueline said,
who's
"Gotta go,
your
appreciate you
favorite-
all. Love you, King." That's from Jacqueline. So,
All right, Jack. Bye, Jack. Who's your favorite sexiest superhero?
Storm Halle Berry,
We talk
which is really weird because Michelle Pfeiffer beat it before that. But Halle
Yeah.
Berry as Storm was so sexy to me. I loved her. And Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman would be the other one, but that's because I would kill everybody on this panel for a night with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, I mean, plenty ways.
Love you all, but yeah, it happened.
Goodbye.
That's my girl. That'll always
Gabriel,
be my
yours.
girl. But back to it, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead, Gabriel. Yeah, back to yours.
I don't know.
All right,
I mean,
good answer.
I guess from the universe of movies, I guess it would be Pfeiffer, hands down.
Yeah. For sexiest, it would definitely be. It'd be both, but I'm just.
Anthony? Anthony?
I'd have to say Halle Berry, Storm.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's just something about Halle Berry as Storm.
It was the first X-Men movie when she first rose up before she fried Toad, and she was pissed off through the elevator shafts when she's sitting there and just like, you know what happens to a Toad when it gets wet, or whatever it was during the storm. And the way
Some
she
shitty
looked in
line.
that scene,
Yeah, everything
but
else,
that
yeah.
was it. I'm like,
Yeah, but
love
Pfeiffer's
this woman.
crazy, and that would
Yeah.
James?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love-
no, I'm Pfeiffer. I'm Team Pfeiffer.
I actually didn't like Michelle Pfeiffer's character as Selena,
I liked it.
I thought
I
it was
did-
great. I thought it was
Well,
perfect for that
but I
universe.
See,
loved
I'm-
her as Catwoman.
I'm stuck between Jennifer Lawrence
You know,
and
you're
Rebecca
right all the time.
Romaine. Boom. There it is.
I'm done.
But what happens, like, you know, you kind of getting into it, and all of a sudden there's like snow and shit.
What do you mean snow and
Let's
or
find out.
rain, Or you get struck by lightning.
Let's
on your
fucking
ass.
find
Yeah,
out, okay?
Okay.
You ever,
Oh.
you know, Bill has talked about it. If there was ever a way to go, that's how I want to go.
Death by Snake.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm getting there. And
And I
if,
do
it,
have to
if,
say,
it,
the
if it's a chick wearing all blue, I don't care what's going on. Boom. I'm going. Oh.
there was something about in WandaVision when she came out as the Scarlet Witch that was just very very attractive.
She just doesn't beat Storm for me, but she's up there.
No, but like that's a close second for me.
Yeah, she's definitely
When
up
she
there.
comes down as the Scarlet Witch in WandaVision, I was like, "Oh, babe, that's nice." Something
that-
about that.
And she, Anthony, to me, in the Doctor Strange, the last movie, she actually looked better facially. But her character, but I mean, I went back to Endgame when she was upstairs and then she floated downstairs and all the fucking wheels with this crates are coming and she sat there and she held them and she looked back behind her and she threw them and that girl, the one woman said, "Where's she been all this time?" That was sexy to me
I can see
Fair
that.
enough.
because she has the power.
Well, lastly, I got, like I said, I wanted to talk briefly about it when I did with the recasting. I think it's a mistake movies are doing when they won't recast a character. And honestly, I think it was a mistake with Princess Leia. I hate to say it, I think it was. And I think it's a mistake with Black Panther. I think if you lose somebody or they get out, I don't think it's disrespectful because so many actors would have been capable of portraying the character. Just look at fucking Batman. Michael Keaton was iconic. Look at Joker, so was Jack Nicholson. Then we got Heath Ledger. And nobody was going to top that role. You know, everybody was against it. Somebody else can play the character. But I think you rob your fan base, and what we're talking about, fan base who likes the movies, who likes the comics, who likes the heroes in general, you're robbing us of the proper character story for those people.
Yeah,
And I
By,
do think,
by recasting or by not?
by not
By not.
recasting.
By not.
example would be, I'll use the movie, Black Panther has come out yet, but the last Star Wars was supposed to be Leia's story. You know, that was originally supposed to be the third of it. Because she passed away, as much as nobody can be Carrie Fisher's Leia, somebody else could have been for the actual story that belonged in Star Wars. Instead, we got that fucked up mess. Because you don't want to recast. You don't give other people an opportunity to, you know, play a role that they'd probably be very good at. You never know till you try. Maybe they wouldn't be, but you're still going to make your movie and give your story.
Yeah, but the whole, I mean, that whole series was doomed from the start by trying.
It was, but I mean, it's an example of being completely robbed because you
Yeah.
lost that character. You didn't even get the story intended. Thrasher says, "I'm totally secure with my manhood. Luke Cage is sexy
Yes.
son of a bitch."
Yes.
Indeed.
Sweet Christmas.
I agree.
Oh, totally agree with
Agreed.
that.
You will not get an argument on that one.
No, I'll agree with that too. Ashley says, "Gotta go. Love watching. Get a hold of you later, Bill." All right, we'll see you later, Ashley. Thanks for being here. We're about to cut this show anyway because I do, of course, have to go to work as usual. We didn't hit everything, so it was a good talk.
Oh, you're going to try to get there on time?
No, I'm already late.
He's already late. Come on now.
Yeah, and I can't even have somebody start up for me because I got the computer in my car. So, because I upgraded it, and yeah, so that's not going to happen. So I'm still going to be late. Let's see where I'm looking for on here. Thank you everybody for being here. Blah blah blah. You can always join the panel. You know all this shit. I don't have to go through the
Yada
spiel.
yada.
Feel free to reach out to us. Don't forget to like,
hey.
share, subscribe.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it's a quick
I don't
ending
know
here.
who's watching. I don't know who's watching, but Keith, tell people again how they can get on the panel because one of Linda's friends wanted to get on the panel, and I said, if you go on there and it'll say that you can invite, blah, blah, blah. I said, but if you watch, then they'll know.
You actually have to go to the
Keith can tell
website,
ya.
which is it's listed at the bottom here. It's earshouldervoice.com/join. If you just go to the website, you'll still see the link. You don't have to go to /join. There's still a link directly on the homepage. But if you go to
Right above your head,
earshouldervoice.com, you can't do it this one because I didn't update the link. But most shows you can
can't-
do that.
I tried to explain it to her twice, and I got tired of it. So
It's also, Bill,
Right above
as
your head,
everybody
Bill.
is
My
pointing
real
out right
estate
now,
agent.
it's right above your head. Call into the show
Right
by going
there.
to earshouldervoice.com. We didn't plan a next show. I am going to actually hit the next show. I'm going to set the topic now. We've been trying to do this for a while, and it got canceled because of different things. People couldn't make it.
it's the sex
And
show. Yeah.
It's not.
How many sex shows do you need, Bill?
If he says sex show, I got to drink.
One every 3 months. But Keith drank a while ago. Keith
Just to
drank a while
check in.
ago, and I did not say sex show
Make sure
or
nothing's
gay friend,
changed.
so
Exactly.
Originally, the conversation that came up for the topic we're going to be having coming up, which was playing the part, and it was about like straight people playing gay characters, black people or white people playing black, and black playing white characters and stuff like that. And it was playing the part, and we're going to do that show this coming Wednesday. But we're also going to include some of the newest stuff that's come up as far as playing the part goes, where it's going to hit into woke casting and stuff like that. And we talked briefly about it before, but we've had a lot of comments on it and a lot of people talking about it. So we're going to bring that up as well. So it's going to be playing the part. It's going to be about how casting decisions have changed, how you feel about it. Do you think it's necessarily racial? Do you think it should be turned the other way around? All that good stuff that nobody else wants to talk about. We fucking will talk about it. Woo-hoo. And Thrasher says, Bill, you need a cold shower.
Agreed.
So thank you everybody for being here.
Cold
Return
shower.
every Sunday and Wednesday
Stop it.
for Ear Shoulder
Cold
Voice. This
shower.
was a nice,
Cold shower.
fun, lighthearted open forum. I appear to just go to the show. Ear Voice.
I'm the only person on the panel that two girls said goodbye to, so shut up.
Hey, now that's
They're
true.
your friends. That
Fair
doesn't
enough.
count.
Touche.
You know them.
One of them
You
one of
planted
them.
them.
Was my daughter-in-law's cousin, and the other one was my friend. Yes, so shut up.
Planted viewers did not count.
They're
We'll
not
take those
planted.
viewers,
They
though.
just came on here because
We'll
of
take
what
those
I've had
viewers.
to deal with them last week. So
All right, you all have a great night. Thank you again for being here. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go. And here's the key: being you,
Okay. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Good show. Good show.
I
People.
like that. That credits. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
You don't have to say all that stuff like the Micro Machine Man anymore.
Yeah, I got tired of trying to say it so fast and getting in there. I
Right.
just took the vocal out, and it was easier to do it that way,
Sure.
and it looks better. Oh yeah, you haven't even seen a lot of that stuff, have you,
I
Gabe? 'Cause
haven't.
You've been gone since you haven't been on
In
it.
a while.
Yeah. Welcome back. We did miss you on here.
Thank you.
It's like we're getting our Sunday panel back.
Yeah, I missed being on here, man.
Yeah. We're glad to have you here. It was a good show. I'm sorry I had to cut it short, but I had to cut it short. We talked about a bit. We didn't talk about everything, but there wasn't everything to talk about. I had nothing to talk about at the beginning. I love how it works that way, though.
Indeed.
Start out with no fucking idea. I'm like, I still think like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, this show is going nowhere. We're going to do nothing right now.
I never
pick up
We
on
got
that.
there.
We
We
have
made
shows
it.
like
Fair.
that. It works out great.
Yeah, it usually does. It was good. So yeah, that's pretty much it's the after show. So this is not the worst after show ever, but it's one of them because we're gonna pretty much cut it. Because I have to get to work. People are waiting on me. If I didn't have the computer, I wouldn't go in there. But I would stay here and I'd be late than usual. But I'm gonna have
What-
to. But thank you.
What are you talking about after show, Keith? We already ended the show.
Well, they still know it's an after show. At least the one
Well,
person
you know,
still
we
watching.
still stay here and talk for minutes and stuff, but he's got to go because he's already late.
Yeah.
I gotta go
Yeah, I
get
know.
dinner, so I'll see you there shortly.
All right, we'll see you. Okay, sounds good. I'll see you up there. Last thing. Now you come up with a topic, Thrasher. Stable employment is overrated. That's a good topic because there's no such thing. I really wanted to hit on the economy for a minute and what's happening, but we'll hit that coming up in another
There are other Sundays.
show. Yeah, there will definitely be more, and I don't think it's going to get better by then. So, all right, we'll see you all later. So let me put up the screen, and there it is.
Appreciate you, Keith.
I try. You too. You as well, Bill. Love you, Bill. Love you, Gabe. Love you, Jane. Love you, Anthony. Love you, Keith. You're the best.
You are the best, Keith. I don't care
So
what
Representative
great.
anyone
of
says.
egotism.
I don't care what anyone says.
I never lose my job, Thrasher, just to add that to there. I'm too fucking valuable.